Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I will walk you through how to design this faceted bead in Fusion 360. We'll talk about some really basic stuff, sketching, constraints, um, lofting surfaces, stitching surfaces, some basic solid modeling techniques. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to introduce you to is parameters. So the beauty about Fusion 360 is you can design in multiple modes. So we'll start in parameter mode. You can go to modify up here, go to change parameters. And parameters are just things you set at the beginning so that later down the road when you design you can change it easily without having to go really in depth into it. So basically how it works is you set all these parameters and then you use those parameters during your design. And I'll walk you through all how to do that. So first, let's make it millimeters, not centimeters, millimeters. Let's call it dimension. This will just be the width of our bead from point to point. We'll give that a dimension of 12 millimeters. Okay, and let's also just say hole size, get millimeters, assuming we have a 2.5 millimeter cord we want to put it through, so we'll give it 0.2. Okay, we'll hit OK. So if you look at this bead, you can see that it's hexagon based and it's clearly defined on four planes, here and here, and the bottom is just the same but hexagon slightly rotated. So let's start by sketching these shapes. So first what we'll do is, there's an origin, we will construct an offset plane. So we're going to design one half at a time, so let's make this offset plane dimension divided by 2, right? So this will be our topmost hexagon. While we're at it, let's just go to millimeters. Okay, let's do another offset plane. Let's say dimension divided by 4, right? Let's make that dimension divided by 3.5, just because. Okay, so let's start with we'll start with this big hexagon here. So we'll hide that plane, and we will do a create sketch. So now we're in the sketching environment, really simple. We'll start by drawing our hexagon. You'll go up to sketch, line, and you'll just start with drawing half the hexagon. So you can see that the sketch you can move any which way because it's not constrained or dimensioned, it's not locked in place. What we want to do is you always want to lock your sketches in place to avoid errors or mishaps later down the road. So first let's set this horizontal vertical, which makes this horizontal. Now I can't change the angle. Let's put the midpoint at the origin. Boom. Now a hexagon has, the interior angles of a hexagon are all 120 degrees, so let's set that parameter. 120. So to set parameters, you just go up to sketch, down to sketch dimension. Okay. 20. And then this one here, you can set to 60. Okay, so adding this dimension will over-constrain the sketch. That means all the angles of their hexagon are already defined, and if we add it, it's not really going to change anything, it's just going to read it out. So let's just get rid of it. And let's set the dimension here to dimension. Good. Okay. So now we have half our hexagon. You can still see it's not fully defined, but it will be in a second. So let's mirror sketch. Go to mirror. And what this does is you can select your entities and mirror it, just kind of make a copy of it on the other side of a line. So we'll select these three, select our mirror line, boom, hit OK. Now it's completely mirrored. Anything we do on this side will be mirrored on that side. So let's define this dimension. Boom, now it's set. Okay, it stopped the sketch. Simple. Now rotate and you can see it is on plane 2, which is where we selected. So let's draw this top hexagon. What we'll want to do is plane 1, sketch, create sketch. And the nice thing is we don't have to redraw all those lines. What we can do is do a sketch project. Now what project does is it takes sketch entities that are not on this plane, and you can project them or move them onto this plane. So click here. Okay. Now if we rotate, you'll see we have that sketch project on that plane. One thing I like to do is all non-usable or non-sketches that I don't intend to use, I like to make constructions. So let's select them, construct, just so it's easier to differentiate. Now I can't select this profile. Nope. Now I can't select this profile, which is fine. Now we want to make that hexagon a little smaller, so let's do a sketch offset. Select all the entities. Let's make it go in -2.0. Okay. And we can turn construction off those. So now it's selectable. Let's turn the origin off for now. It's giving me a headache. Cool. So let's hit stop sketch. Turn this one back on. You can turn the visibility on and off for any sketch body construction plane over here. So now we have 2 hexagons, right? So what we're going to do is change from the model landscape to the patch landscape. I can get into this later, but model is based for solid modeling techniques where you create solids, and patch is more for creating surfaces. And they're different. They're just different strategies and workflows to come up with designs. And in most of these cases, I like to go from surfaces to solids. So we'll start with the create, and we'll loft the edges together. So click this line, and you can see how it lofts like that. So what you're going to do is loft all the edges together. But instead of selecting all the lines, what you can do is close these, go to chain selection, and now it selects the chain of sketches. So I can go here, I can go there. See, so it won't work, and it won't work because this middle line is not construction line. So let's cancel that real quick. Let's go down here to sketch 2, edit the sketch, and we will construction. Boom. All right, now let's redo it. Chain selection, profile 1. Huh. Strange. Okay, well, no worries. You can just do it one at a time. Line. There you go. It's okay. Now you could go and repeat everything if you wanted to, but there's an easier way. You can go to create. You can go to pattern. You can go to circular pattern. Now select this face. And what we're going to do is just create a circular pattern. So we're going to repeat that face 6 times. Select your axis. You can see here that it has 3 repetitions of it. And what we want to do is do 6. And boom, there you go. You have a hexagon surface. But you'll probably notice that they're all different bodies. That's okay. Let's make the whole center first before we do anything. Go back to plane 1 and we'll go. So let's see. Let's edit this sketch. Okay, and we'll make a circle right in the middle. Give it a dimension, full size. Nice and simple. And let's loft from this surface into that. So what we probably want to do is loft, chain selection again. Select this whole chain, select that chain, boom. There you go. Let's turn off these sketches for now. So we're getting there, right? We have half of it. But what we also want to ensure is that we need to extrude out a kind of column here to take into account the fact that there's a cylinder or a hole through our bead. So let's go to create and extrude. Select that chain. Extruding simple, you just pull something from a sketch or profile. Let's give it dimension 2. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make these all one body together, one surface. Right now they're all separate, like so. So we'll do this. Modify stitch. Okay. Now it's one body, right? Perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to do another mirror. This time we'll mirror this whole body. So we'll go mirror. We'll select bodies. Mirror plane, we'll select this, which is the bottom of the cylinder. Okay. Now it's mirrored. Nice and simple. But if you notice in this bead, the hexagons are shifted. So we have to rotate this bottom body. Nice and easy. We'll right click. And we'll go to move copy. And what we want to do is just rotate it. That's not what I want. You can go to rotate, axis here. And then we just want to rotate it. Let's see. $30. Okay, very good. So now what we want to do is loft. And a nice thing about loft is you don't have to go from line to line. You can go from line to vertex. You see here, these are triangles, not trapezoid. So we'll go create, loft, uncheck chain selection here. Okay, so it's not letting me select this point. What we have to do is we have to make a vertex. So we'll go back to construct, and we'll go to point at vertex, and we'll click right there. Well, then we have to do it. Let's do it here. No, okay. Here. Just make another one. Here. Okay. We'll create loft. Uncheck chain selection. Grab this to that point. Hit OK. So now we have one surface. Let's make the other one. Create loft up, down. Perfect. And let's do another pattern, another circular pattern. This time we're going to check these faces, click that axis, and hit 6 times. And what we're left with is this. So, getting there pretty quickly, right? Again, you'll see that these bodies are all separate. And if we want to turn it into a solid, we can stitch a single closed surface and it will automatically become a solid. So let's go to Modify, Stitch, select all of them, hit OK, and now you have a solid body, which is denoted by this solid cylinder. So it's no longer a surface, it is solid through and through. But what you can tell is that it still doesn't look the same, and that's because I filleted all the corners. So let's do a modify, and we'll click fillet. And so this just rounds sharp edges and stuff. It makes things look really nice. And we'll go through and we'll select all the buttons. Not buttons, all the edges. Suppose you could do some mirrors and stuff, but it might just be easier just to select them all. .48 is good. And let's just select these ones as well. And what we'll do is start with a 0.5mm fillet. So it's a little aggressive, I would say. Probably not as a little. That looks pretty good. Okay, so there you go. You have a mullet. You have a solid model of your bead, and if you want to make it look a little nicer, you can come down to your display settings, go to visual style, and go to shaded. And there you go. Nice and easy. I'll be back more with some more advanced techniques to make some of their shapes. But for now, thanks.